And there's also a lot of videos on YouTube that tell the people that they should form a real estate company and then buy properties with their own real estate company instead of buying them as a private person. What do you think about this from a strictly tax perspective? Is it really tax beneficial, as the internet says, and should people do it?
I would not advise to do it. To be honest, I do not see a tax benefit. I see rather the opposite. Right? I mean, what happens if you have real estate within a GmbH? I mean, there are a lot of entities or real estate entities, but they have a huge portfolio, right? So, and not just one or two or three apartments or houses, right? So, that is for them, it might be beneficial since it's all combined. So there are special tax treatments if they shift the property within the GmbH or with other companies within their group of entities, right? But for a private person, it's, from my point of view, always better to have it or be invested as a private person, because if you have it in a GmbH, then first you have to create the GmbH, you have to have the bookkeeping for the GmbH. I mean, you have to do the income determination for the property, and you have the bookkeeping for the GmbH, right? So you have both. Then you have, depending on the size, publication requirements and so on. So you have to pay a lot of attention to run the GmbH appropriately, right? And the second point is, if it's within a GmbH, it's a trade. So which means you have trade tax to consider, to file a trade tax return, and so on. And when you sell it, right? So as I said before, if you have it privately owned, after 10 years, it's tax-free within the GmbH. I mean, you sell it out of the GmbH, then there's a profit that has to be taxed within the GmbH. And if at some point you liquidate the GmbH, I mean, there's a liquidation profit which you have to tax then at that time, right? So, from my point of view, if we are not talking about huge investments, it's always more beneficial and easier from handling point of view for you to keep it as a private person.
I completely agree.
And you can have 10, 15 apartments, houses as a private person. It doesn't matter. As long as you do not go into trade with them. So if you trade more than 3 estates within a period of 5 years, then you are in a trade, right? Because then it's not private wealth management, then it's a trade. So you have to be careful.
Considers you a business then.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. I completely agree. Also so you're mentioning it's not tax beneficial to sell it within the GmbH. I think you don't even get a property in a GmbH if you walk into a bank and say, hey, I'm a strictly employed person. I was never self-employed. I have a strictly fresh made GmbH that I founded yesterday. Give me a mortgage for 100,000 euros. It's not going to work. If you're planning in the millions, okay, then this might work, and then you might also get some tax benefits. But if we're talking about buying a property for 100, 200, 300K, keep it private.
Yeah.
If people have further tax questions, Dirk, how can you help?
I mean, of course, you have to contact me, right? And then basically what I do is I conduct a Zoom meeting for a quarter of an hour to get to know the person, the requirements, and the topic and the expectations. And then tax advice has a lot to do with trust, right? So both parties, so you and I, have to say, okay, we can work together, right? It does fit, right? And I have the trust in that person, right? And then based then on the information I get from the interview, then I can basically talk about the process, how it works, and of course also about the fees. What does it cost?